أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله
to listen to him and enjoy as the lecture is being going on. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I need to apologize up front because me, I am a bushman. This one that they are plugging over my ear, I don't know. I know the one that it feels wrong. It feels wrong that I'm not holding something, but alhamdulillah for being here. I have had dealings with MICA for excess of 4 years now, but it's always been MICA Lagos. I facilitated a lecture in the 2016 Katiba program for MICA Lagos, and in that period, we've had interactions. Sometimes I attend their sessions. So hearing about Abuja, I wanted to, my mind was open as to what I will find here. And alhamdulillah, so far, it's been very encouraging, right? Of course, as with all of us in our individual lives, there is need for improvement and things we can do better because we're all on a journey. My journey is individual to myself, but at the same time, I am part of the Ummah. I might not be as forward as some people along that path, the Islamic path. I might not be as ahead as some other people, but that's the beauty of it. I don't have to be the one in front. Just like the person behind me is not inferior to me as well. We are all on different journeys. The people who are up there, they didn't just wake up and start being up there. They walk. I told you now. In fact, this one, Seth, I'll soon raise my voice and talk, the one I know. Okay. So, we all are on that journey, and we keep working to develop ourselves. And that's the thing. Even regardless of what aspect of life we're looking at, it could be love, life, family, whatever. So when we look at love, and not even love, let's extend it to marriage now. It's probably the same thing. It's not by who has been married the longest. It's not by a person being single, being married, separated, divorced, nothing. There is always something we can gain from one another. It is common to have Muslims, we look to discriminate. Say, for example, we'll find somebody who's going through marital challenges, or somebody who perhaps is divorced or separated. And I find this a lot when they come up with opinions and they speak. And you have people who probably are still married, or maybe singles who have not yet been married or never been previously married. They look down on them like, well, what do you know? Your marriage did not work. But I tell you, who best to tell you about what can go wrong in marriages if not somebody who has experienced it? So left to me, somebody who's, for all of us, when we talk about, I've never experienced divorce. I don't pray to experience it. So it means that everything I talk about on divorce is always going to be theory. It's never going to be from an experience perspective. So there is always something that somebody else can give to us. This is as it applies to marriage, but it's not just marriage, it's there in life. There are times you look at somebody and you don't believe that anything can possibly come from the person. And then the person speaks and leaves you with, or maybe the person even acts and leaves you with a message that changes your own life for good. So, I mean, that's the first bit that I want to touch on. Now, a lot of questions came up yesterday. Obviously, I'm not going to go into a full-blown lecture today. I requested that this be left open because I know so many people have questions. And it's possible that for every person in here, there'll be a different question entirely that goes in different directions. Now, what a lot of people don't know about answering questions, especially on the issue of marriages. So, for instance, somebody wants to ask, how can I deal with a cheating spouse? And then they expect one-line question, one-line answer. How can I deal with a cheating spouse? Then I just say, go and do something, and then that's the answer. No. I need to dig backwards, ask questions, find out about you, because what is going wrong with counseling, as a lot of people do it today, and why you find not so many people getting the answers that they want, is that enough questions are not being asked. People are just taking on examination that they don't even understand. So someone asks, how can I deal with a cheating spouse? Do I even know whether your spouse is cheating? Is it just what you think? Or the spouse is actually cheating? Now imagine somebody asks, how can I deal with a cheating spouse? And instantly I jump to it and I start answering and I start going. And at the end of the day, you find out the person's spouse was not even cheating. That person probably did not tell you that bit because that person also did not understand that bit. The person will go ahead and start to implement the things you've said, not knowing that they didn't even need to go that way in the first place. So with questions, before we try to look for answers, I don't give answers. I don't do, I am talking, no. I learned from this too because it's cheating now. I'll be answering questions and nobody will give me back. Me too, I want to benefit from you. So I keep it open. Even for my sessions, I don't do, I'll just be telling you what to do. And no, it's interactive. We will talk because in learning you teach and in teaching you learn. Nobody knows it all. I go through challenges in my marriage as well. People think maybe because I talk, that means it's always rosy, everything fine. I can talk about having fights in marriages because I fight tire. Every day I fight. We argue over something, but it doesn't need to, like I was going to say yesterday, but I was not able to deliver that bit. A fight, every misunderstanding is a chance to get better in the marriage. So today, now, I don't know that you don't like this thing. And then we have a misunderstanding over it. that gives me the opportunity to learn that you don't like this thing and I will not do it again. Now, say I don't even understand that bit and I repeat it again tomorrow. They like accusing us that we do things repeatedly. So if I repeat something, it gives you also, and we have a misunderstanding over it, it gives you the chance to let me know that when you do things, when you don't listen to me, I don't like it. When you repeat things, I don't like it. Again, a chance to learn. But a lot of us, we focus on the negatives when we have misunderstandings, and that's why it doesn't help us grow. Let's take the average marriage age to be as it exists in our society today. Let's say 25 for women and say 30 for men. That's 25 years of living your life, learning how to be your own individual person. And at least 30 years of his own life, different values, different location. And you guys want to come together one day and just gel, no issues, everything will just connect. It doesn't happen that way. If I begin to come here today, it will take me a while to understand how things happen here. Sometimes I'll come late, and then maybe that'll be the first day they will warn me. Oga, we don't come late here. Okay, I don't know. Maybe the person who will warn me will not say it well. I'll be a bit upset, and I'll say, I don't like this sister. Why did she talk to me like that? It will take time. Sometimes you start out not liking people, and then you become best of friends and all, and you laugh about it like, the first time I met you, you were doing anyhow. And that's life. It takes time to get through these things. Now, let alone marriage. Marriage where we want to live our lives together under the same roof. Imagine parents that gave birth to us and siblings that we grew up with. We have issues with them. Now somebody from somewhere with no ties, no blood ties, just one person. And then you have issues. What are we able to make out of the misunderstandings we have in our home? A lot of the things that I talk about are things that I've experienced as well. So people say, it's like you are living in our house. Well, I am human too. I go through this. I go through these things too now. No matter what we talk about, there are things that probably I've gone through. If I have not gone through them, there are things that I've witnessed from close range. It doesn't matter what we want to talk about. Domestic violence. We call it domestic violence. Husband and wife will fight. I have been there. I'm not going to stand in front of you, or sit in this case, and pretend like a saint and all of that. I have had fights with my wife, and sometimes hitting has happened. I have been on the giving and receiving end of slaps. I'm not proud of it, but I am proud of where that has taken me. Because it is having gone through that that has shown me that this should not have happened, that this is wrong. So, I went through that. It would be a shame if I cannot speak with people coming behind and make them at least try to avoid that. What's the essence of all of the experiences we go through? The positives and the negatives, if the people around us cannot benefit from it. And that fundamental is one of the reasons why I do what I do. So many times today you find people going to marriages. For us married, if we ask ourselves and you think of who we spoke to before we got married, did we talk to anybody? Did anybody tell us what to do and all? Probably nothing. We just went in like that. And maybe we told one uncle to help us check something, or somebody to help us check the sister, and they will come back with their own feedback. Nothing. And see, we're talking sisters who even get attention more than the brothers. And sisters are even saying, we didn't really do much. We were just lucky. And it was all Allah. See, regardless of whatever it is you try to do and try to learn and try to get prepared and all that, nothing really prepares you for marriage. Nothing really prepares you for what you are going to experience in it. However, there are basic fundamentals that we need to be able to go through. It's very, very key. Learning about who we want to go through. And people ask, how can you learn about this person? I believe that some things need to have been tested. So I ask questions. This person you want to get married to, are you able to sit and have conversations with this person? No issues. How is it that you're talking about wanting to get married to somebody and you cannot just sit and just talk? Okay, we can talk before you get married. When you get married, what are you going to talk about? And will you just sit down? Somebody you connect with is somebody you don't need to have a topic to talk about. When you see the person, the topic will come. It will just happen. It's not, so how are you? Say fine. Mommy, go. Say fine. Daddy, say fine. Everybody, say fine. And you're sure everything is fine? Yes. And then awkward silence. And then you'll be shaking your head, not knowing what to do, not knowing what to say. What should I say? What should I not say? Which one will be Mizianin? And then maybe after like 2 minutes, you say, so I say I should check. I will check on you again. And that person has gone. How now? And that person is who you want. Imagine, the courtship period is the excitement period. That's the period where there should be more than enough to talk about. And that period, you don't have anything to say. Then when you get into marriage and there's see finish, the attraction has gone down. How? And then we now talk about compatibility issues. What compatibility? Right from scratch, you knew you could not strike basic conversations with this person. Yesterday, a question was asked about the importance of English language. Me, I grew up in a Yoruba-speaking house. We did not speak English in the house. It's not all of those come, sit down, go. No, 100% Yoruba. All of the English that I speak, I learnt on television and in school. No English at home. Maybe because of that, and for the fact that I grew up in a not so posh environment, so it doesn't matter to me. This one is low, poor, speaks Yoruba. No. I have friends who are mechanics, not the modern day mechanics. So like that's what they've been doing. The time you were going to school, they were learning trade, and they will escape from where they're learning the mechanic trade, and we'll play ball together and all. People that I see today and we talk about business, they are now orga in their own line. They didn't go to school. Rewire, I know all of that. Battery charger, thank you. Battery charger. I'm telling you, I know people like this and we interact well. And it doesn't matter to me whether you're this one or, but if you want to turn it up and come from high, I can speak English now. I'll turn it up for you and say, Assalamu alaikum, so how are you doing today? And I speak like that, and it's not me pretending, that is how I speak. That's life. So it shocks me when I hear things like, that brother cannot speak proper English. And I'm thinking, really? Sisters, why? Brother that came, has a good job, likes you, he's good looking, his dean looks proper, he's looking to self-develop, you can see him growing, and you crash all of that because of English. Why? It feels like we're holding on to the wrong things. Abi, sure you will follow the person that can speak English and will beat you. Or the person that can speak English and will use the English to insult your generation. Abi, it's English you want now, so you have to make choices. You can't have it all. I am not perfect. My wife is not perfect. People say, love me for who I am. I think it doesn't make sense to me. Love me for who I am does not make sense, because if who I am is not good enough, if you love me, you will not love me as I am. You will try to upgrade me. Love should make you want to make your spouse better. Somebody was asked to pray yesterday, like, how do you pray for your spouse? And said, they pray to be together in Jannah. How would you be together in Jannah when it's time for Salah and you go, you have your prayer, and your husband is not praying, and you keep quiet about it? How would we be together in Jannah? So, and then I'll come out to say, I love you. Love. How? You've gone to pray. The most important thing to you in life, which is Allah, you have gone to do that. You left me behind, and you're telling me you love me. How do you love me exactly? You do not love me. Some things will need to be said, and they will be difficult. Forget this one that I'm wearing this thing, oh. This is not the real me, oh. This is not my real picture. Abi, how do they say? This is not my real face. My real face is without all of this, no cap, everything, with my t-shirt and my short knicker, my combat short, and I am a troublemaker. I say everything that I believe needs to be said, because I believe that we are here as a ummah because a lot of these difficult conversations have not been had. What is an example of a difficult conversation? Intercourse. Or guy is not performing well. Madam cannot talk. Because if you talk, you are afraid they will say, where did you learn it? So we keep quiet. We keep quiet and we don't talk. And Oga is coming. Whatever he wants, he will ask, he will get it. Oga believes that I am doing fine. Madam is frustrated inside. She has not talked. And we keep it like that. And this happens over generations. To the point where when I say we now, are now getting prepared. So sisters are lucky in this because somebody is even sitting with you people to tell you. Us, nobody send us message. All right, so when sisters are now getting told about what to do in marriage, they pass all of the things that they didn't like. They were forced to adjust to it. They now make it look like the norm to you. Is whatever your husband says that you will do, whatever he says is enough. And we raise ourselves, we raise mediocre families in terms of values. It's enough where we're okay with regular. I don't want a wife that has only BSc. I told her, you may not work with your PhD. I like it. I want to be hearing it. Let them be calling your name. See the something PhD, something. They are inviting you to places to come and talk. Go. And then it comes to debate about how we mix the deen in. Alhamdulillah, this is Abuja, so a lot of times when you find sisters using the khimar here, and then you find the face veil and all of that, it really doesn't, the image here is better than it is in Lagos or any other place. Let me not even use Lagos, let me use Kwara. Old Kwara, not new Kwara. New Kwara is better because Islamic societies, the ideology is trickling down, but not as much as we want. So people now understand that I use the hijab doesn't need to translate into me being a backbencher. It doesn't mean I'm not educated. It doesn't mean I'm not productive. It doesn't mean I'm not wealthy. It doesn't mean I don't have my own money. It doesn't mean I don't have my own business that I run. But, I mean, in days past, this is what it used to be. And then we created this disconnect between, there is always a balance. We create a disconnect between, is either you will be religious or you will be successful. Once you are religious, you have to pretty much be a glorified slave. I have daughters. I am spending a lot, I'm doing a lot I'm drinking Gary to send them to school. We go through a lot of things together. Every day I teach them values. Okay, this is this. I'll pay school fees. You pay money for madrasa, separate. Then I'll pay money for their taekwondo coach to come and teach them and all of that. And then I still spend my own time with them. Assignments come. This one, that one. Learn this, learn that. Learn all of the languages you can learn. Back then, I was restricted. So English, of course, you're Yoruba from home, and the beginner level Arabic that left a lot of us just being able to write, and you can read some. You don't understand what you're reading. I want my kids to have better, and I've got 2 daughters, and I want them to have all of these things. So you think I'll go through all of that, put them through all of that, and then wish for them to just be someone's kitchen attendant? Why? Okay, so what happens if husband does not come? As we've seen, sometimes husband does not come. And so what happens? It's easier for us men to understand this thing when we begin to think about it from the context of our daughters. It's much more difficult when we look at wife. You're like, don't do this here, do this here, don't do this. When you look at it from the context of daughter, this school fees that is expensive that I'm paying, to go and now sit down in the kitchen. No. Dude, nothing wrong with kitchen. There's nothing wrong with kitchen. But be more. Be more. Let me need to even, madam, please, I bet square me 500 there. MICA, just like 500K, please, sharply. Like, okay, let me just transfer to you. Not that madam wants to buy sanitary pad and has to wait for you. Why? You are first a human being before you are somebody's spouse. Me, I take care of myself. They took me to one hotel like that is expensive. And I opened the whatever it is that they put inside to check the menu. And I was seeing plenty thousand, 6,005. So I said, hi. It has happened today. And I called my wife. Because my wife is my CFO. She is in charge of all the monies. Anything that comes in, just you know where it is and all of that. A lot of people run away from these things. I say, me, I don't understand. My wife runs away with my money. What is she going to do with it? She'll take care of herself and my children. I dash you. I dash you now. That said, me, I don't even have money. Maybe it's easier for me to say because I don't have money. So, if you, whatever it is that is there, if you feel is worth you running away, I dash you. That's how low you've taken yourself to. So I don't care. Everything that comes in. And see, I have sessions as well. I protect myself, I protect my home. I have sessions. And say, for example, I'm having a session with you. And you are female. And my wife is female. Forget that she's my wife. She's still a woman. And she will still check what's happening there. Who are you talking to and all of that. Sometimes these are ways by which I protect myself and I keep her calm. So it's easier for me to say, Haja XYZ, I have a program with her. Online program, by the way. It's not one-on-one. I have online program with her. Everything's, and her session, a daily session is maybe 7 to 8 or whatever, right? It's easier for her to link everything when she has access to the account where the sessions, money have been paid into anyway for the session. So she can see, okay, this person paid money into this place. The money she's seeing tallies with what I said. Everything just connects. And sometimes this is what helps when I don't lock my phone and my wife does not check my phone. She doesn't need to check my phone. Why would she check my phone? What's she looking for? And I don't lock it. There is a second phone that I lock. And I lock that because there are people's information on it. I don't do, yesterday, Sister Mariam was talking about whatever it is you tell me, just know that my husband has heard. It's a bit different for me. I don't do that. Because when you you didn't reach out to say, let me talk to Mr. and Mrs. Giwa. You reached out to talk to Shamsidden Giwa. One person, singular. A lot of the things that people talk about are sensitive. I trust myself. This person has chosen to trust me. Sometimes it takes years to get to that point where you now say, let me tell this person, let me confess. I think it is unfair, and for me, It's unethical to then give my wife access to that. However, I first need to be able to establish trust to the point where when she sees that phone locked, she understands enough to say, this does not mean anything. So if she wants anything from that phone, she will bring the phone to me. Open your phone and say, that one is work phone. Say, what do you want on it? I want to check pictures. Okay. I'll open for her. Go to pictures. Check. You've seen all the pictures. Thank you. What else do you want? I want to check emails. You can't check this email because this one is work email. What I can do is let you see the people that sent the emails. You know that first page where you see, but for you to read the specific things they have sent, you know me and you know the work I do. I will not grant this because this is somebody's information. And they go, okay, no problem. And that's it. Now, if I don't earn that trust in the first place, sometimes I have sessions up till 2 a.m., not from Nigeria. Unfortunately, people calling from US and Canada, time zone is different. So when they finish from work, they'll tell you, I can only call at 6 p.m. Their own 6 p.m. is already getting to 11, 12. How do we do? There is no way around it. So it's not easy for a woman to sit down and just hear, that's my husband chatting with, talking to one woman from America at 11 p.m. How now? You will create problem in your own home. But right from before I used to do face-to-face sessions for individuals, and then I canceled it. Now, I canceled it because it's Nigeria somehow. Before somebody will wake up one day and say, something happened. It will be online. The day that we are lucky to bring your spouse into it, and you guys are not going to come to my location. No, I will come to your location, control everything, protect myself, protect you as well. Now, the times I used to do it, if I'm traveling, say, this is the person I'm going to meet. I have done my research. This is the person's wife or husband. They work here. This is their phone number. I told them they've paid money, so you can track their account that they paid with in case anything happens. Call me every 15 minutes. If I don't pick, if anything happens, I don't pick. Call this other person. Give the person my location to come fast. And I do all of that. And I told one person that I did that. And the person said, okay, but I was trying to protect that. The person was also trying to do the same. I said, I fear kidnapper too now. I don't want it. And so the person received the call like, okay, I'm okay. There's no problem. I said, I am the kidnapper. You understand? But
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والفجر وليال عشر والشفع والوتر والليل إذا يسر هل في ذلك قسم لذي حجر ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بعاد إرم ذات العماد التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد وفرعون ذي الأوتاد الذين طغوا في البلاد فأكثروا فيها الفساد فصب عليهم ربك سوط عذاب إن ربك لبالمرصاد فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My name is Hawazuri.
Open your message. Instead, I will call you and say, sister, please, I'm in trouble. Can you please help me tell this madam that what is going on and all? You know, sometimes you need to weigh what's going on, but at the end of the day, confidentiality clause is still very, very key and it's binding. You can't say because of that. Having said that, it's still your own work to put your house in order. If you don't put your house in order, you can't blame a spouse who gets uncomfortable around you. If your phone is under lock and key every time, you can't blame a spouse who believes that you've got something to hide. It is what, it just is the truth. If I begin to get jumpy, and you know how women say, you know when your husband is doing something, you will just know. It's a lie. It's not like there's any intuition. It's just that we give away this clue, regardless of whether it's the husband or not. When the person has something, you will just know. The person will get jumpy. The person will believe that they're trying to, the reaction time will be faster for phone. So maybe you're coming, you find them putting the phone down. Why is it that, in your mind, why is it that it's every time I'm coming into the room that you're just putting the phone down? Or maybe laptop. Every time I come in, then something is minimizing or shorting. Why? If it happens once, in your mind, you'll go, okay, maybe your mind will skip it. But if it happens twice, we pick it. We pick this little bit. See, I tell you, if you look at this place, right, you study this path, and then you stand up and attempt to walk around the corner and walk to that door, you may not get it right, but without hitting anything, you can get to that door. And that's by shutting your eyes and you attempt to walk. Because the brain has, how do I put it? The brain fills in the blanks for you. It fills in the blanks. So it takes into consideration all of the information that has been provided with. And when your eyes are shut, it tries to its best of its knowledge, let you know, okay, do this, do that. Now, imagine that I assess this place. I program what it's going to be like. I close my eyes. Somebody takes that pack of bottled water and put in front right after I close my eyes. My mind is not going to make preparations for that thing, so I'll walk right through it. Again, it comes from filling the blanks. If there is a hole there that I saw before I closed my eyes, when I get in and around that place, my mind will tell me, try to stretch your leg. There should be one pothole around here and all. That's how intelligent we are as humans. And you think that when I enter and somebody's just shutting down laptop, I will not notice. I will notice now. I will notice. And 2 plus 2, I tell people, pair of slippers, left leg and right leg, right? But it could be red slippers, left leg of red slippers and right leg of blue slippers. We'll be able to call both of them a pair? In some contexts, yes. Most times, no. 2 plus 2 does not always equal 4. So, in the mind of somebody who is already suspecting you, a call can be all it needs for me to jump into a false conclusion. Because there had been background things that had happened before, everything pointing to one direction. You, the same person that will be smiling on phone, you, the same person that is hiding to shut something down, you, the same person that is receiving call at, say, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., you now say, hello, and you try to form and stroll away with the phone as if like, really, why do we do these things? Is it that we think that the other person does not see it?
All right. Take much. There's no questions? Eh? Yeah,
Um, okay, still on this issue, I would like to say something. Okay, you said due to your kind of work, you can you have a conversation, you have an understanding with your wife, so she knows. What of somebody? Because I know most people hide under the fact that this is confidential. It's not their work. That's not their kind of work. But you see them communicating with some people, and when you want to, like, what is that? They'll tell you, no, it's private, it's confidential. She's confiding in me, I'm confiding in her. And you as the wife, you'll be like, what's happening? Can a wife too, and I keep thinking, can a wife just say, okay, you can't look at this, my chat, it's confidential, I'm having a confidential discussion with somebody. So I think there should be a line. If it's your work, it's your work. We understand. But if it's not your work, you cannot be having some conversation, some suspicious conversation about with someone, and you think you can give an excuse of it's confidential. So there should be a line drawn to that. And I also want to contribute on something we discussed yesterday when you said women don't take some issues lightly, that if you want to tell them issues about themselves, about them, you have to be cautious of the way you say it. I think we women are on the receiving side of this issue mostly because we know men are very egocentric. In fact, something as simple as you snore, you have to think of a way to tell your husband. You have to be thinking, how do I put it down so that he won't feel bad? I won't bring him down. You understand? So it's not even us, because mostly men can tell you anything and they are going after saying it. They don't care what that thing has done to you. But you will have been thinking of that thing for like maybe months to say that thing. So I think you have to emphasize more on that. Men should just try and understand. And also something about feelings. There's something I have issues with. When I tell you I feel this way, that's the way I feel. I'm not imagining it in my head. You might not feel that way, but the moment I tell you this is the way I feel, don't undermine my feelings. You have to work with me on the way I feel to make it better. Not that you telling me it doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter to you, it matters to me. So all we have to do is have to think of how we have to work together to solve the matter that is disturbing us. That's all.
Assalamu alaikum. When she said men should kinikon, then I looked back. Where are they? They are not even here. We are lazy. Muslims are lazy, especially our men folks. They are not ready to work. They are not ready to stand up, and they want things to get better. We are not doing anything. Common tahajjud, we are not doing. We are lazy. We are extremely lazy. I mean it. Like, look at us, we are here. It's not because I am a lady or I'm a woman. We are trying. I know, and sometimes I just ask myself, Allah, and you said the best people, the number of people that will be in Jannah are women. And we are the one working. I don't know how that works. We are the one working, I will still be in Jannah. Like, we are going to fire and we are doing all this. I can't imagine it. Like, these people are not doing anything. I am not seeing any effort. It's not about my home alone. We read on social media, we have friends, we discuss with. It's obvious. Like, it's obvious. It's obvious. I don't know, MICA, you need to, like, the chapter coordinator said yesterday that talking to men, we have to be, I am a very blunt person. So I think in this marriage institution, we have to be blunt to ourselves. Regardless of how someone is going to feel or not. Please, men, I know of a women, they have group where they discuss about marriages and all of that. I think men should have that too. And for the purpose of getting things better, not worsening situations like, okay, we want to confide in her. Because any chat any messages you are sending, the angels are recording it. Forget about, I don't know. Please, we want MICA to have, and every married man, it might not be online because we have a lot of excuses. I'm tired, I can't read messages and all of that. It could be a session maybe once in a while for men only. Let it be a frank talk. Come here, let's tackle it. Okay, you see, sisters will be talking on the platform. I am not on the MICA platform. I left a long time ago. Sisters will be talking indirectly, something that is affecting them, and a lot of us will be joking around it. We don't know it's going to affect our generation, the generation to come. We all think it's just joke, or maybe it's just all about us. We can't keep taking marriage like, I don't know, the way our parents had it. We've exposed. They don't have sessions like this. They never had someone like you to talk to them. And we are having this opportunity, and we still want that mindset of living like, this marriage, it's not something that ends here. How do we want our children to, how do we want our marriages to look like? Men are not trying. Honestly, Gaskia, they are not trying. MICA need to do something. It's all about, okay, they want to get married, let's help them with financial, okay, give them a gift, and that's all. Call the men, how are you finding it? It's always easier, maybe 4 to 3 months of marriages. How are you call the brother, get somebody to call the sister, get somebody to call the brother. How are you finding, what is it that is not doing well? What is it that she's not doing well? And get things done. This is a community. This is, please, MICA, please, see, they are not here. Me, I went to Islamia. I was at the dinner yesterday. I got home, I still went to do something. I slept around 12. I woke up this morning again to prepare breakfast, children to the Islamia, and I went to Islamia myself. I was dozing in my Islamia. I was supposed to be going, I said, no, let me go to MICA. Then I came here again. Then, I am going to pick up something from here again. It's not going to be for me alone. People around me, that is how it goes from generation to, but many. Please, help us talk to them. I am, see, they are here. It will send it.
Now,
Assalamu alaikum. Okay.
Sometimes questions come in the form of comments. So I think, don't mind me. I'm an Oludu. Sometimes I forget what people have said. So pardon me if I try to go back and remember each point. The first one was about men. Which of them was not?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
In addressing men, I think that the very fact that you addressed it in that manner brought to light something that is quite common. We tend to see it as it's men and women, women versus men, men versus women. A lot of times it tends to come out that way, and it's not that way. No matter what you say about man or men, it's not going to count for me. You can talk about men are not here. I am here. I am a man. It doesn't count for me. You can talk about men don't listen to the other. I listen to my wife. It doesn't apply to me. I help out at home. I clean. I wash. I cook. When I want to cook. Let me just add that on. Because, hey, yes, I can be lazy as well. But I have places where I have my strength. So I think it would be unfair for anybody to judge me by what other people have done. The same way it would be unfair for them to be judged by something I have done. So what I'm trying to establish is that first, there is no men do this, women do this. There is what each of us have in our individual homes, because it varies from place to place. Now, having said that, by the time you hear A complains about this, B complains about it, C complains about it, and it keeps going like that, it gets to a point where you tell yourself, okay, what is really happening? Yes, it can be difficult to communicate with people. But like I said, these are not issues that began today. On the average, let us say MICA has age 40, let's say 42 as mean age of husbands, 42. A 42-year-old man is not a child. That person has lived for 42 years. Now, if the person has lived for 42 years believing and practicing a set of rules, a set of values and all of that, we are not just going to flip something and then the person changes overnight. It takes a lot of time, a lot of patience and proper approach. I am here today, and a lot of what I'm able to do today, I learned from my wife. She taught me true perseverance and patience. Now, that is as it applies to me in my own home. It doesn't mean a wife that cannot do it is not trying. But this is why I am here. When we first began, there were things that I would not do. Put down toilet seat or something, and then you see droplets of things. It used to cause issues. And imagine you go from being somebody who lived with parents to being a bachelor who had your own house to yourself. You owned everywhere. You could do anything you like. Nobody nagging you. And all of a sudden, somebody is now trying to reinvent how you use the toilet. Something as basic as that. But at some point, I had to, it wasn't one day automatic. He'll just tell you this. I'll say, yes, I've heard, and then I'll go. Come back again, I've forgotten. I'll do it again. I'll go, come back again, I've forgotten. It took a while. And there were things about her, too, that I had to speak about. That took time. I wanted her to take her second degree. Wallahi, it took me over 5 years. 5 years of fight, begging, showing, any style that you think of. I used it. Manipulation, blackmail, anything. I used everything, the good style, the bad style. I reported her. She didn't answer. When the time was right, she did. And when she was to submit her thesis, I read the dedication bit, and it was all worth it. If that dedication page is all I ever get from it, it was worth it. It was worth all of the effort I put in. Now, beyond that, when I see what that means to her profile as a person, it makes me feel fulfilled. I think about all of the years, and sometimes I laugh at her like, see, imagine, and we took 5 years for us to get here. Now we are here, what are we going to do again? Let's add another one. I know it's going to be another battle. So sisters, even though I know, we know they try. I know a lot of us are struggling with some of those things. Unfortunately, the women today as wives are suffering the consequences of women and men from previous generations who chose to raise men as we have been raised. We've been raised, a lot of us have been raised, I'll come to you. A lot of us have been raised wrong. Let's call a spade a spade. A lot of us have been raised wrong. So going into marriage is master-slave relationship. A lot of us don't have marriages. We have master-slave relationship. I went into marriage and I imagined food is ready, serve me. This one, that one, and all of that. And I just go, put money on the ground and go away. I said it yesterday. Things changed when I lost my job. We were not in Nigeria. In Nigeria, you run around. People will rally for you. What about this opportunity? We were in London. No job. So when I see people trying to run abroad, I tell them, you think immigration is the problem? I have had work permits full, no work. That is where you will know how far. And what did I do? I reinvented myself. Whatever it is this baby needs. Oh, who noticed me doing peekaboo earlier on? Experience was just coming back straight like, I need to do peekaboo. You do peekaboo, after a while, the kid will get interested and I will start laughing at you. I didn't even know when I started to do peekaboo with her. This, from experience, it just kicks back in. Because these things I had to do. If you don't learn how to make the child keep quiet, you will be frustrated. You want to mix baby food, cow and gate. When we didn't have money for cow and gate, you will now buy potatoes and you will now do mashed potatoes. And I can do all of this. I can change diaper, speed, fast forward, sharply, do all of these things. And that became the value I was bringing into the home when I could no longer bring money. Husbands today, you can be husbands by 4 things. Unfortunately, the generation before us, I'm not one to keep pointing fingers, but it's the truth. They failed us in many ways. But it is also our duty to reinvent ourselves. You can be a husband by the fist. Fist could be, I will punch, I will slap you, or shut up, or keep quiet, or no is no, nothing. I can be a husband by the fist. I can be a husband by the pockets. Everything, throw money at it. Something, see, take. I have transferred money to you. How much will something that has to be about money. Whatever it is you're talking about, let's monetize it. See, I have to go to work because money or something. We can be a husband by the manhood. And that's all we know. That babe, I don't think I'm, or something, and all of that. And we can be a husband by the mind. And this bit, nobody teaches us. They teach us all the other 3 growing up. And they tell you, sorry, this is Abuja, so I should stick to English. As a man, if you're not able to provide financially, you're a useless man. As a man, if you help out around the home, they make you feel like you're a weak man. You're talking about men not being here and we're lazy. No. Men are not here because of the nature of what's being discussed here. Go to places where core religion is being discussed. The tough one. You find men there. Go to where sports is being discussed. You find men there. Go to where else do we go? Sports. Politics. Go to where politics is being discussed. You find men there. It is because domestic issues, they feel like a waste of time. There are men who will look at me for doing what I do and imagine me like, this one no get job. He's just going about talking to, what, is this one serious at all? I'm telling you, there are people, a lot of people look at me like that. It's like, is this one does not have any serious thing to do. It's just going about, and all. Yes, ego plays a part. I am a man. Okay, and that comes to one of the questions that was raised. Why don't we have groups and all of that? I have had different sisters come to me and talk about, somebody said, the way the sisters of Jana, we can do brothers of Jana, and I was just laughing. Brothers of Jana, now fight, we go fight, come on there. It will not last one day before we fight. Ego is in excess for every one of us. So you want to come here, remember, what right do you have to tell me how to run my own home? What do you know? And I'm just sitting down here talking about you do it this way. We know they easy like that. Though. It's not like women. That said, let me touch on these so-called groups by women, because I think the way it is being handled is doing more harm than good. Personal opinion. I think it's doing more harm than good. Why do I say this? When you find, I speak as somebody who has been an admin to female groups, said female groups. I'm not a female. I've been an admin to different groups. I've been a consultant to people on how to manage public profiles, public platforms and all. So you can't shut me out. I'm the one showing you how to run it. You can't shut me out. I've seen things. And all you tend to see when sisters are discussing marriage is the negatives. Are we saying that everybody here has a bad marriage? Is it really that bad? A group has 1 million members. And you find 22,000 people talking about how bad marriage is. And because of that, we think marriage really is bad. We forget that there is 1 million members, right? There is 980,000 people who are not talking. Of the 980,000 people who are not talking, if there are 500,000 of them with good marriages, they have done the society an injustice by allowing the 20,000 to bust the narrative and make single people believe that once you go into marriage, it is bad. All men are evil. All men are this one and all of that. We don't talk about these good stories. When you speak to sisters will say, evil eye. I don't need to put out. There are ways in which you can put things out to let people know that marriage still works. It is a lot of work. Let's not get it wrong. It's hard work. But it still works. It still works. What we have is that narrative being put out there. Please hide my ID. Secondly, let me just say it now in case you all don't know. A lot of please hide my ID stories are false. They're fiction. Fiction, not by, okay. Say for example, I put up a post now. Talk about the normal things we talk about every day. You get small engagement and all. Let me put up a post about a man who was, I came into the house and I found my husband with another man. My husband, a wife found husband with another man. You will see a lot of reactions. People forget that somebody is running the platform and the person wants engagement. You people can be shouting, that's what I want. Like my page, like this thing, interact, buzz, 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 buzz. So sometimes these things are fictional. I have seen it happen. So more times than not, I don't even talk about people's stories. Why? Well, what's that again? So yes, you are true in saying that more efforts could come in. And I agree with that. But there's also a factor of how men are raised. Okay, let's say we were already condemned, right? But in our homes, how are we raising our sons? How are we raising our sons? Is there any sister here who has considered the day she would call her son and say, let's discuss about sex? My sister said, from the back, like, Even as a man, you will shake small, like, But see, talking about puberty is something a man should discuss with his daughters. It's something a woman should discuss with daughters, sons, and discuss it with everybody, because I can only teach my daughters from the perspective of a husband and a man. That perspective that she would not know, I can only teach her that. But when she has a mother or a mother figure, then it's complete. That person can then teach you from the perspective of a woman. My sons will never know what it feels like to speak to how a woman feels when you speak to them. I can only teach him how I think it's good to speak to women. Only my wife can tell him how it feels to be on the receiving end. When you talk to a woman this way, she feels this way. Now imagine she misses out and she doesn't answer all of that.
Jazakallah khairan. In addition to what he said, you want to say something too? I think I will give you mic before the sisters. But before then, it reminds me of a program that we went for at the villa. I think I don't know if any one of us were here, I think last 3 or 4 weeks ago, we have been invited by the president and his wife.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن
dethroned Emir Sanusi, and also the Alhaji Isiaq Oloyede, the JAMB registrar. The JAMB registrar was trying to put marriage as an institution the way we have a university or polytechnic as an institution. He said, have you ever had anyone that enters into university without having the requirement of minimum of 5 credits and the social numbers in JAMB before you can enter any university or any polytechnic? You must have that minimum requirement. Even some people will still have that requirement, they will still not gain admission. But in our marriage institution, do we have any benchmark that we set for our ladies, for our sisters, or for our daughters and our son, that you must reach this level of maturity? You must maintain, you must be on this benchmark before you can enter into that relationship. We do. As Muslims, we may, but it's not that prominent among us. Yes, yes. Let me give you an example now. We have been saying this, and you even said it yesterday. Most of the family prepares their daughter for marriage. This is what you need to do. If you are doing this, your husband will not like this. But how many of us talk to our sons like that? How many of our brothers do we ever examine? Are you even mature enough to have a wife? But what we're after is just get a wife, just get a wife, just get. We will not examine that person. If somebody enters university with, like, let's say you have distinctions and you meet up with a high grade, and they now get somebody from, I'm sorry to say, from Mushin that doesn't go to school to be in the same class with that person, will they ever be in the same level? That is what is happening to our sisters and sometimes to the kind of brothers we are giving them. Many of our sisters nowadays, this is very, very prominent, they are going into marriage not because they have that much affection for that brother, but they just need a husband, because that husband is not even there anymore. That the target they set for themselves when they are in secondary school or when they are in higher institutions, those brothers are not even there anymore. And their own time is very, very short, unlike brothers. Brothers can wait till like 40 years, 50 years before they get married. By the time you are becoming 28, 30 now, it's not even you that will be a pressure to yourself. Your parents will become so much, there will be so much pressure from the extended family, from the family, even from friends. So, yes. Now.
There are men, there are women. In Nigeria, what gender do we think is higher in the population? There are more women than men, right? That's what we believe. Okay? The day you check it, you will find that there are more men than women. The day you decide, okay, let me not work with what I'm seeing. Let's actually go to statistics available consistently over the years, not just 1 year, from World Bank level down to the local census and all. We have, for every man, there is, I think, 1.02, for every woman, there's 1.02 male. Now, if it's like this, how is it that at the point of marriage, we have this little man and this many women, right? Age 20. A woman is looking to get married. She can't get married. What is she looking for? A man from maybe 23, 24, 25 upwards, right? As a man, I don't even know, at 20, they won't even accept that you are a man. They will be calling you boy. So a 20-year-old boy, you can't even talk about it. We've not even called you man, so you go and write jump or something. Go and find a life. At age 21, let's imagine that the lady gets into uni. Age 21, 100 level. How many people now, your mates will be coming to tell you how far? It's not going to happen. So you find ladies, again, still looking up, right? Age 22. Maybe the guys are in 200 level, year 2. And then maybe they will have small hope for year 1. But it's just hope, because you are now in competition with year 3 and year 4 and above men. So chances are you will get no. Year 3, again, forget. We're talking like maybe age 23 now. Now, you are in contention. This, we see it happen. The ladies then some of them are almost at the end of school. It's feeling like, there's no hope. Oh, okay, maybe I should even consider this my mate that is now trying little by little. And that's in the context of the school. When you graduate, it resets again. People go for NYSC and everybody seems like mates. And then you begin, okay, we've gotten a job. And it continues like that. By the time it begins to get to age 25, 26, women begin to think, okay, a change in ideology. It doesn't have to be all that. Like, it just needs to be mature. And the maturity you seek is already been there. So you start to bring it out. It doesn't need to be 35. Maybe 30. And you are 26. Maybe 30 is not so bad. And really, it's not so bad. By the time you get to 28, 30 still doesn't feel bad. Believe me, by the time you get to age 32, you will consider somebody who is 33. You would consider someone who is 32. Because at this point, you are no longer looking at age. You're looking at what should have been looked at in the first place. Actual maturity. And the person's readiness. You're looking for deeper values. 34, 35, and all of that. But still, ask a 33-year-old woman if she would be willing to go with a brother that is ready today, has everything, 27 years old. Right? Everybody will say no. She would rather go for somebody who is her age and is not trying as much. The more you go up as a woman, by the time you get to 33, how many 33 plus men have not been taken? So if this whole table was the universal set for men that existed, age 20, you cut away this one because you cannot date your mate. 21, you cut away this one. 22, the higher you get, the older you get, you are cutting away all the eligible men who are not as old as you. So let's imagine that the highest age here is 50. By the time you get to here, see the probability of you getting somebody because of what you're looking for. That's one bit. Now, flip side, check for men. Can a 30-year-old, no, 35, I want to, can a 35-year-old man get married to a 45-year-old woman? Why not? Like, what's there? I'm 35, she's 45. So what? What's there? Can a 35-year-old man get married to an 18-year-old lady? Now look at the range that the man has got. A range 18 to 40-something. Plenty women. But you as a woman, you are restricting your own possibility. And that's why it feels like there are more women. In the actual sense, there are a lot of men. Why will I, as a guy who has been told from 20, 21, 22 that I'm inadequate, up to age 28 when I'm ready to get married, I'll now settle for you, 28. No, I was inadequate then. I agree. I have been convinced that I'm inadequate. I should not go for my mate. So let me go back. Let me too. They've done me this thing when I was small. So let me to go back and get somebody else that is small. What happens to the 28-year-old ladies? This is the artificial scarcity that we are creating in our society, because in the actual sense, when you sit down and take the stats, there are more men than there are women.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. I thought we were going to just focus on sisters, since they said. So let me speak. Not for the men anyway, like you said. I totally agree with you on the fact that we men were less prepared for this journey. And like you said, on the spiritual side, there are provisions, but we don't implement them. And on the societal side, the first three, the feasts, this and that, this is the focus. And I think in one forum, we as men, we talked to ourselves and we said, look, there's a lot we need to do to improve on the emotional and mental capacity for men, as in. So I believe that gap is there, and gradually, as we are talking about it now, a lot, inshallah, will be happening. But while those three core things were held by men, there's also some changes that were taking place. I mean, it started, bit by bit by bit, and now it's before. So that's another area we need to add into the preparation of men. And that is to accept the fact that what women used to be, what we were told that women are those days, they are not like that anymore. No, not like they are not like that anymore. They were never like that. Yeah, okay. Okay, fine. But we're made to believe that they were like that that time. Yes.
We imagine that our mothers were super women who did it all like that. It's when you grow up and you think about it, you now start remembering one auntie that used to live with you, and one other auntie that they were helping out. She wasn't doing it alone. It's always like that. There's a difference. The fights were there. So, I mean, all of these things.
So, but there are some things that still remained on the side of the men, both from the spiritual angle and from the societal angle as well. And that is the fact that as a man, whether you like it or not, you still have to pay the bills. This didn't change. This is what we were told then, and that is what it is today. But on the other side, there's a change taking place. You see? So men now find themselves in a dilemma. Those ones that are really willing to unlearn and relearn, but this one no change now. This one no change. Why be saying only this one? Do you get it? You talked about your daughters, my daughter, his daughter. We're taking very, very good care. We're giving them equal opportunities. This never happened 50 or 100 years ago. You get it? So, in terms of capacity, empowerment, while the ratio on the men's side is coming down, on the women's side, it's going up. I don't think there's any brother here today that will say that it's not his happiness, his joy to empower his wife, either in business or in her career. This is one area now that brothers are letting go, because before you were told that it's your time. If a woman goes to work, it is because you have given her the permission to do that. So you hold on to that as a means to control. You understand? Because you believe you need to have that financial capacity. Then you are the one that will tell her, go, don't go, sit, don't sit. So then you want to use that as a tool to be able to achieve control. But today, it's not like that. So these are the things we need to balance. We are taking very good care of our daughters. They get well, educated. They share the job. It used to be maybe 90-10. Now it's maybe 60-40. But the responsibility is still there. So for me, while growing up, I was like, look, this, you are cut out. Your job is cut out for you. As you are marrying, you have to take care of her, take care of the children, take care of your family, her family, So this thing sticks there. So now, that brings me to the issue of trust. Can we say trust, is it absolute? Are we looking for absolute trust? Because in your own case, you've been able to create a structure around what you do, and based on that, you have earned the trust of your spouse. But from the angle of, okay, you have to be fully responsible for your family, and you also know that, maybe we are entering into another set of financial mess now. You know, it's like this. It goes down, it comes up. And you feel, because you think you are responsible, right? And you've tried to show that to your spouse over the years. You just feel, okay, while it might work for some people, maybe because of upbringing or background, to feel comfortable to divulge all their financial information. You feel, in your own case, because tomorrow things might go down, and it is still you that will provide. And you are thinking, okay, let me keep this information to myself. What is key to me is to play my role when it is required. For me, this is not, shouldn't create a trust issue. But the way it is today, it is that if you can't tell me all what you are earning, there's already a trust issue there. Meanwhile, typically, we also have this common quote that we also grew up with. Whether it's changing now, or maybe our sisters will tell me. And that is, your money, our money. My money, is my money, your money it's our money. So if you marry all of that together, you know, as a man, there's that risk that, okay, when you can't provide anymore, and also again, the society will tell you that a man that cannot do is what? So you don't want to get to that point, and you feel, okay, let me, if I go for war and I conquer, then I will come and say, okay, yes, I have killed a rat, or I killed a rabbit, or I killed a lion, but, you know, but if at the beginning you expose everything and say, you carry 5 bullets, go, now only rat you kill come, someone that would already be saying, alhamdulillah, at least it's a rabbit has come. We not say, but you went with 10 bullets now, how did you come? And you suddenly, you know, get belittled. So these are things we need to balance, you know. Thank you.
First of all, let me make it clear. People talk about a lot of, I don't care who disagrees with me. At the end, I mean, we're the issue. People talk about my money is my money, your money is our money. In my home, it's not like that, though. My money is our money, your money is our money. That is what I implement. There is no your money, there is no our money. I just told you now. She is my CFO. Everything that comes in, enter. I don't care. Everything is entering there. I don't know. You please give me. You know where the money is. Stop asking me for anything. It is what it is. All of the money she earns is our money. All of the money I earn is our money, and she earns. In fact, I said it earlier. I said there have been times when I could not provide, and the home was dependent 100% on her. However, that position is a position you earn, because when I could provide, I over-provided even. You have to earn it. If you don't earn it, you're not going to get it. Now, that being said, there are a lot of, the mentality is wrong with a lot of people, and they think, my money is my money, your money is our money, and all of that. Men are not slaves too now. We're not fools. We have feelings, and it makes us feel. A woman that brings value into the home makes you feel like you've got something. Now, in this context, we're talking finance, right? A woman that brings money into the home. Now, it's not just a woman that brings money into the home. A woman can earn ₦1 million a month. How much of it consciously goes into allocations that can tag with the man? Now, I'm not saying I bought Bobo for my children and then you count it as I'm contributing to the home. No. Conscious effort. School fees is 500,000. You say, take the 500,000 for our children. You say, no, I'll take the 500, but let me add 100 from. You know that in the sweet person belly. Say, no, let me add 100. Not because you don't have it. This is it. You've already given me everything. Just give him something back and say, I want to have a sense of ownership in the home. I want to do something a bit. And unfortunately, women talk about wanting to have a voice, right? The feminism movement. I want to have a voice. But how do you have a voice when you want somebody to provide everything for you? Finance is a control tool. I'll come to it. Finance is a control tool. Let's not act like it's not there. If I'm the one to give you money for food and you misbehave, I will take away the money for food. Not me. Yes, it is wrong, but it's who we are as humans. We're not perfect. So if I'm pissed off at you, you know this thing, I say it a lot, that is immature for a man to not eat when he's hungry. But look at it. Would I really feel like eating when I'm mad at you? Would you feel like speaking to me when you're mad at me? You get, these things are real life human situations. And yes, we still expect maturity to be there, because even beyond maturity, if you don't eat, number one is your money that you used to bring the food, and now you will now be the one that's hungry and now spend another money to go and... No, it doesn't even make financial sense to me. Okay. Hey. So somebody now, another wife again. Another wife. Okay. And make it your role. Good. I've heard that a lot. So let me ask you, as a wife, do you want Abu to help out with domestic chores? When he comes, don't you think that he feels like, if I help her sweep today, before she will start thinking it's my work to be sweeping? It is what it is, but does it mean that you will do that? It doesn't mean you will do that. It's the same way if you choose to help me as your husband. Second wife. I'm coming. That one is big talk. I'm coming. I'm coming. I will take it.
Assalamu alaikum. Please, it's just a question. I met a sister, so we're just talking, and she was like, she doesn't have any problem. If her husband annoys her, she has friends, like in the office, can just move down to the office and talk, and to be over. So I'm like, is that correct? Is it right? Then, yes. That means he has men friends.
The woman has male friends.
Yeah, male friend, yes. Okay. That they always chat and, everything will be over. I'm like, didn't you fear of the fitina or what? There's nothing like that. It's just a mere friend. So I'm like, okay, Islamically, is it okay for a married woman to have friends? Because even my secondary school mate, to even speak with them, sometimes my husband is so jealous, and I don't know. Like, can't we just speak with male friends?
There is nothing. Let me just answer. There's nothing wrong with having friends. It is how you choose to interact with those friends that is key. You've lived a whole life. It would be unfair to imagine that you won't know people or meet people. A friend could even be a cousin that is family, but then the person is also a friend. But regardless of whether that person is that cousin or a friend from this place and all of that, it's still in how you interact. So what are the laid down rules about interaction with the opposite sex as it binds male and female? Now, let's be open to our realities. We have a complexity that other people don't have. And I mentioned this yesterday, that we are Nigerians and then we have our tribes, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, whatever, and then we are Muslims. At the end, you find all of these things mixing together. Nigeria is not an Islamic state. So we don't have Islam as the default rule of law here. If that were to be the case, then you would find a lot of these things will be, so for example, there was one scenario I witnessed one day, and somebody needed to register for biometrics at a particular company, a multinational. Now, the person registering people, biometrics means that the facial points are taken and all of that. Your ears need to come out. Everything, like the actual shape of the head, everything needs to be registered such that every day you come, you stand in front, and then it keys you in. The person to do this was a man, and then I sat down, I was watching, and one lady came in, and she had hijab and all of that, and in my mind I was just thinking, hey, how would this happen now? And the guy didn't know. He knew what needed to be done in his mind. The guy, a Christian, he knew what needed to be done in his mind. But he didn't know how to tell her that with this thing we are trying that is not registering. See, your ears need to come out for it to register. Now, even if he had the audacity to tell her that, what would she do? Now, these are some of the difficult challenges that we found ourselves in. What do we do? At some point, something has got to give, and it's not ideal for us as Muslims, but that's the reality that we found ourselves in. Are you going to say, I'm not registering for work, when directive has come from up that they'll be paying salary based on attendance, and that is how to register? And he is the IT guy that will register you. It's not like, okay, bring a female that is IT that can register. He's the one that is handling biometric machine. What do we do? In an ideal situation, provisions will be made for such. But this is where we find ourselves. It's not ideal. At some point, Allah sees everything. This situation of working and having colleagues and doing all of those things, you can't help it due to where we find ourselves. If you're going to have a paid job, you will have male colleagues. However, how you choose to interact, the fact that ideally, if you're to follow it Islamically, you should not even be with them in the first place, whether at work or not. It should not even be there. But hey, this is how we have found ourselves. It is left for you to understand that, okay, the manner in which I interact with them. So for instance now, I went to their house, they hosted me. And she made me lovely rice. I keep talking about that rice. Lovely rice and all of that. So I know her now, I interact with her, and then interact with the husband. If we get to that point where they view me as we're almost one, it's still not, Islamically, it's still, they accept me, still doesn't make it, you don't break the rules, but they accept me, no. But see, under the situation we found ourselves, if she gives me a call, how is the family, how is your wife, and all of that, I don't think that crosses any line. I might be wrong. Allah sees it all. But personally, I don't think that crosses any line. Now, it will get to a point where the discussion will now be personal. The nature of what I do means that I will hear some things and I'll have some discussions that are personal. But then again, that is according to the occupation. It is not just regular cordial, we're gisting and all. Because when people call me, I'm a very private person. It takes a lot to get me to come for events. You wouldn't even find me first. People see me and I'm very present. I'm present because internet is everywhere. I'm a very private person. So you won't even see me even talking to which friend. I don't even want to talk to you. Not like anything. I don't feel like it. Leave me in my space. So for that reason, it becomes easier for my wife, who knows that this is the sort of person he is. He does this one, that you are even begging to go out and do something. I'm not gisting cordial with anybody. So no conversation. There was one talk earlier on about conversation is suspicious. It will not be suspicious because you would, even for the bits that you come and you walk past, you will have an idea of what I'm talking about. You would know this one is not, from body language and everything, you know who is trying to be dodgy. You know when something flags. It's not even going to get to that point. So in that context, I don't think anything is wrong. There are people who call also from work. So we've done this work from, say maybe a project. We've done this work and then I get home. I need to pass on information. These things do happen. But on the level of we're having friends, we're keeping friends and all. If I, as a man, I don't keep friends in that manner without carrying my wife fully along, then it's just normal for me to expect the same of her. That's my view on that. Ideally, I don't think, we're always, Islam is always, the deen is always going to be our default. Let's not paint it like it is, it's not right. Now, it's not whether it's because it's the woman talking to a man. If it was the man talking to another woman, it still would not be right. However, sometimes you need to look beyond the black and white and see, okay, this person speaking to me, this is my Oga that is calling. Naturally, you will have a relationship with your Oga. You won't just say, Assalamu alaikum, and then you don't talk. And no, now, it'll happen. If the interaction we're talking about still falls within the limits of, okay, this is as work demands, I don't think that's too much, given the context of where we find ourselves. Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Another side to what she said. I've seen so many of our so-called affairs with short trousers and you expect so much from them. The wives, you see us on hijab, sometimes full hijab. And when these are so-called affairs, when they are at work, you see their relationship with female colleagues, not Muslims, the Christians. You see them, they shake without any remorse, the way they conduct themselves. And we are still battling with not shaking the opposite sex.
There's no hug now, sister. Hug is not there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And nothing.
We don't hug now.
Yes, they do that. They do it. And you now see we are still struggling with, okay, we don't shake opposite sex. We don't, and you be the one to impose, let me not say impose it on us, because it's an injunction anyway, but then you are always reinforcing it on us. And when you get outside, you don't even care about who you talk to, who you relate with. You see, talking to Shazis, and you tell me it's a office relationship, it's just a casual relationship, but then it's somehow, please.
I agree with you that these things should not be one-sided. However, first, let us understand that this is not a man-made injunction, right? We need to understand that first. So, if you're doing something, we need to go back to the intentions behind it, why you are doing it. If it's important that what a husband does affects what you will do, then I think that person needs to self-assess first, because I am being who I am not because of my wife. I am being who I am as a husband because this is the sort of husband I want to be. I want to wake up and be a husband that empowers his wife. It's not that it's love that is shacking me, that is now making me do everything. Yes, that bit is there, but primarily, this is who I desire to be. So the same way, if I choose to follow the guidelines as handed down to us and how we should do it by the deen, first of all, I am doing it because this is what I am supposed to do. This is what I desire to do. However, it can be painful when one person is doing something, and sometimes when you need a little extra shocking at the back, things to just make everywhere sweet, and they don't do it. And there is no sweet talk in it. It is wrong. It should not happen. It's not just even on the level of interaction. A lot of people, see, short knicker, ankle trousers and all, it's not enough. I'm not saying it's not necessary. It's not enough to check the character of a person. So it needs to be all of these things plus more. What a lot of us do is we stop at that and see that because the person is sitting in front of you and is dressed in a particular way, that means character will be something. It's only an indication. It's not always 100% that it will be like that. A lot of times, yes. A lot of times, no. There is also the thing about separating it. Look, you need to be street smart. Now, what do I mean by being street smart? And I want to pull the principle now, I want you to try and look at the principle, not the actual example. In school, you have, when you look at best graduating students, best graduating male, female, more times than not, it's the religious people who I want to find any. Then they know book, like say tomorrow, no day. 5.0 CGPA, like they didn't get beat throughout their stay in school and things like that. We hear a lot of these things. And the same with sisters as well. However, take from that point, and you graduated with third class or pass, and you just, hide your certificate and all of that. Go away, come back 10 years. Look at what people have made of their lives. And deep down in your mind, you'll be like, but you had 5.0, what happened? But you had the first class, what happened? At best, for a lot of them, you find lecturing. They get reabsorbed into school and all of that. You be imagining like, even me with my third class, I was able to become this. Why not you? You should be ahead. Something was missing. The social skills, which I call street smart, was missing. So for instance, when we talk, it's even in how we do things. We think it's enough that we're Muslims and it's enough that we're talking as Muslims. No. I still need to do what I'm supposed to do. I still need to keep to time. If I want to sell something to you, I still need to do a sales pitch. Islam does not excuse us. It should be an addition to us. What I need to, okay, you want to pitch a business to somebody, business idea. That I'm a Muslim doesn't mean that I need to bring okay, because you are a Muslim now, you are allowed to go and bring smaller standard. No, if anything, it demands of you to go and bring more because you are a representative of Islam. You should bring more. But a lot of times we don't do these things, and that's why you find in a lot of Islamic societies and gatherings, it always feels like things have not been properly arranged. This thing just didn't happen. And then we're looking for donations and nobody's answering. And because we don't put our things out there and make it inviting enough for people to come. Believe me, add the packaging to it. It doesn't matter. There were people from my page yesterday that came for the general session. I think at least I saw one sister, and her hair was not covered. I think she's even Igbo or something like that. Okay, Giwa, we don't see you. And then she went, and in my mind I was thinking, I don't know, but I think you get. It doesn't matter. I didn't try to paint the program like it's going to be anything less than Islamic. It is what it is. I am a Muslim. But in my own little way, I still I interact with, in fact, my interaction is a lot of it is with non-Muslims. A lot of it is with non-Muslims. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. How would I be able to engage you? And what was the first thing I did? I learned a bit about their stuff as well. How would I be able to tell you that this is what I have and this is why you should take what I have when I don't even know what you have? First, I need to do that work, that bit of work to go. But what you find in multi-religious platforms, and it's unfortunate to say this, and it's the truth because I've seen it happen a lot of times, is that check where you tend to have Muslims. Now, sisters don't really do this as much. They do it, but it is more of brothers now. Brothers will not come out and drop articulate points. They will fight their way out, or condemn you, or crush your creed, or just run away from it. You have brought a point, meet the person, valid points for valid points. Show the Islam that you have in a way that invites someone else into it. And that's what I said about education and all of those things. Like, no, why should a person using the niqab not, why can't she have a PhD? Why can't she be a medical doctor? Why can't she be a surgeon? You think because that person is this, then something else has to give? No, it needs to get to that point. And I like where the world is evolving to. Gradually, what it used to be is you see somebody using hijab or whatever, from basic hijab upward, and you think the husband is tying the person down. And that's what they believe. And I think gradually people are beginning to see that, no, this is independently me. This is who I choose to be. And that I am covering my head does not mean that I am covering my brain and intelligence. From basic hijab upward, and you think the husband is tying the person. We try to dial down on these standards, and that's why you find a lot of what you have spoken about, where brothers at home will demand something of wives, and then outside you're doing something else. It is what it is. What I do outside is what I do inside. I don't care. Accept me for who I am. I'm not perfect. I'm on a journey as well. To be better is to accept that I have my own flaws. So there are people who will come out to you now. Already we've spoken about domestic violence. And I can tell you, have I ever slapped my wife? Yes. I have. Am I proud of it? No, I am not. This happened to me, and I chose to learn from it. And I chose to grow from it. I chose to become better for it. In addition, I chose to show people that don't do this. It will lead to fights, and it will lead you to do something you will regret. I have been there, and I regretted it. That is me choosing to make lemonade out of my lemons instead of pretending that the lemons are not there. They are there. I'm not perfect. If you ask my wife if she's done the same thing, she will tell you yes. Is she proud of it? No. Has she learned from it? When kids look up to us now and they try to gain, this is what we look up to the elderly ones and we say experience. This is the experience that we talk about. They went through the rough of it. Why should my kids have to go through the same thing? Why can't they just already see that daddy went through this thing and then they cut from it and then you get? It's not right that it's happening that way. And I think it's a function of individuality. People just don't do that. If you ask your wife to be something, it only just means that you should at least try to maintain the same standards. But we don't do that, and it's wrong. Oh, okay.
Okay. Eh?
So, what
now. Yes.
No Salah? Salah.
That's just a kind of an advice from, I think it should be from a sister. But to me, he said, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Please, sisters, correct our women, especially married women, that they should wear hijab completely, especially on Friday when they are coming for prayer. Most of them are coming with short hijab. May Allah grant us the right way. Thanks.
Wa alaikum salam. Can I address that? First of all, let's remove the ustaz. I'm not ustaz anything. Shamsidden Giwa. I'm a regular Muslim like every other person, striving to get better. Secondly, it would be very hypocritical of me to come here and try to tell people to wear full hijab when my wife does not. We are on a journey, and we recognize this bit that we're getting there. We understand where we need to be, and we're working towards it. I only try to speak about things that I know I'm able to stand before you and tell you, I know this for a fact. I know that we all have different reasons for doing things, and why it is a very, very valid point. It's a very valid point. But I think it's also important for us to note that we are on different levels and we're all growing. If we choose, a lot of things that happen, even in the propagation of the deen, and why you find a huge disconnect. There are a lot of Muslims at the basic level, a lot of them, and there are a lot of people at more advanced level. But it seems like the people up there tend to just crush the people down there and look at you like, this one's, you're doing wrong. No. If you hold on and help these people up, show them a reason to be it, with time, hopefully things will get better and we'll all get there. Yes, we want it to be, it doesn't need to be that way. But again, it is the way of the world. Everything is not perfect. Nobody was born with the way we are today. We walked towards it, and hopefully that bit can get better.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Concerning the Facebook issue that you discussed, that females, we don't really talk about the positive aspect of our marriage. The thing is, they used to say there's this thing, woman is the enemy of
a woman is a woman's worst enemy.
Thank you. I remember when I got married, my husband is the type that will wake up in the morning. Anybody that wakes up in the morning first, he can take the broom and sweep the house or cook. And a friend of mine, many of them, not even one, they will come to my house and make me feel as if I'm not doing enough. That's why my husband is doing it. So when they're around, I make sure my husband is not doing it, so that it won't be as if I'm not woman enough. That's why it's because maybe I don't sweep the house. That's why my husband has to sweep the house. Or it's because I don't like cooking, or I'm just being lazy. That's why. So stories like that, you don't come out and tell people, because maybe the circle, it's not even about the circle. Because one of the person that accused me, a medical doctor for that matter, she schooled abroad. She schooled in America. She's a medical doctor. So you expect, if you want to say she's not exposed, then no, she is well exposed. And you hear these things from them. So you don't even know if you should show that aspect of your marriage to other people, because you fear them criticizing you. Or
I'll quickly attend to that, and then I'm yet to respond to your own. So quickly on that, the first thing is this: what's the intention behind what you do? And when you talk, what's the intention behind what you say? When I talk, the intention is not to show off. Sometimes I pass accolades to my wife, not because I want to. There is nothing the whole world is going to give me that I already don't have, me and my wife. So I don't need anybody to tell me that I am happy with her for me to be. But sometimes, as a person that speaks to people a lot, I lack in terms of people talking back to me and giving me what I want. So sometimes I have to talk to myself. And how I do it is put reminders in place that help me back when it feels like I'm beginning to meander off course. So sometimes I go back, Facebook brings reminders, and you see something you wrote, and it reminds you again of what you have. It tells you what you need to protect, what you need to be. So that bit. Now, see, for example, I'm not looking for anybody's anything. You see the reason behind saying all of those things. When I talk about issues that I've gone through, I'm not saying it so that somebody can give me accolades or props. No. Maybe I'm not thinking about the 100 people who would do Yimu for you, right? I'm thinking about the one person whose life will become better as a result of what I've written. And if I can change one life, I've contributed in making the world better. And that is how I see it. So when people tell you things like this, it doesn't need to make you change your own values. Because guess what? You might have been the only chance they had in changing their own opinion. So if you give up, then there's nothing to come from it. You understand why your home functions as it functions. You understand your style. What you see and what you know about your home is not what they have at home. So when they look at their own values, what you do at home does not key into what they practice in their home. It feels wrong. Somebody came to my house a long time ago when I was still living with my parents. And the person said, now your papa, they can't open gates. I go to your house, I know meet you. Now your papa can't open gates. Now mess up. Oh. And I was thinking, he's the only one at home who will now open gates. He's the only one in the compound. What do you want? I looked at this person's reality from an extremely wealthy home where everything, gate man and all that. I said, you're not even happy say we get gates where they open. Because in other places, it's not gates, it's door they will open. So you have to look at it and understand that. Having said that, let us not forget to try and learn at at every point we have the chance to learn. They have said they have raised points. Truly, this might be the case. It might be because you're not doing enough. What we've said is that it's not always the case. So it falls back to you to look first, assess yourself. In the context of my marriage, am I doing enough? Call your husband if need be. Do you think I'm doing enough? If everything you check and it aligns and everything is fine, that's the system that works for you. You can't, because somebody feels somewhere, no matter what they see. It's not a function of the degrees and where the person got it. The person the person is practicing a different model of marriage. So you have to adapt. So that bit's done. Sister spoke about second wife. As why brothers will not, thank you. As why brothers will not, excuse me, let me drink before I answer. It's a big topic now. And I'm trying to prepare for war. Bring in a second wife. Look, let me begin by saying this. I don't intend to marry a second wife. Myself. I am pro-polygyny. Very pro. But I don't intend to marry a second wife. Why? I don't intend ever to do it. Why? I don't think I have what it takes to do it. Self-assessment. If I had what it took to do it, now I'm not talking about money, even though money is part of it, but it goes beyond money. I have one wife, and I know what I go through to make it this okay. I am not ready to add to it and go through that headache again. I'm sorry to use headache, but it's not easy. Marriage is not easy. I know they, right? That is why I, as a person, I'm choosing not to do it. However, if someone else feels like they want to do it, they've got the absolute right and permission as ordained in Islam to do it, right? Now, different people, different ways. Going into a marriage, again, like I said, these are some of the issues that we need to discuss. Yes, brothers will not always know what they will feel like doing 10 years. So I can say today that I'm not going to do, and tomorrow I feel like doing. I don't need a reason to want a second wife. So as long as I am able to do it, I can, Islamically permitted, I can do it. Now, as that applies to issue of saving with a man, let me not lie to you. I would not ask a woman to put her all in a marriage where one day something will happen and the possibility exists. As it stands, look, I'll give you an example. I know somebody who is an engineer, big oil company, wealthy, not even in Nigeria, yeah? Wealthy, in a very oil-rich state, works for the national oil company, so to say. Plenty money. The wife, engineer, same thing. Same place of work. Plenty money. They've built things together. For reasons best known to him, he decided he wanted another wife. Now, it's not even the engineer I know. It's not the wife I know. It's the second wife I know. And it was an issue about polygyny I spoke about, and she attacked me. Why would I say something about that, sister? I didn't say that polygyny is bad. I'm just speaking from my perspective that I think it's hard work. And a lot of people don't understand the amount of work involved, and they think it's child's play. Let me just go into it, nothing. And that's all I said. And at the end she said, something, I'm getting married, and something next week, and I'm getting married. I said, oh, I'm not faulting it. Wallahi, I'm not faulting it. I'm just saying that from how Islam asks us to do it. There are things that you should be able to put in place. Now, if we're going to be true to ourselves in our society, this thing is not being followed by a lot of men, and that's why you find the other women now are afraid. If every guy going into it had been going about it as prescribed, it's not a lie to find that somebody has gotten married and the wife at home did not know. You just see the guy traveling one weekend, you won't know what's happening. Say, I'm just going to this. Before they've gone to do introduction and MICA and everything, come back, down. And then if it's Yoruba, if it's Yoruba family, then uncles, they usually call uncles and and the mother of the man, and like 3 uncles will now come. And then they will sit down and they'll call you, our wife, something, we offended you. No, you did not offend me. You guys knew what you were doing. We have offended you and all of that. Why should it be like that? It takes decorum. I have a friend who will tell you, I have been looking to get married to a wife, and until my wife at home gives me go ahead, I'm not going to do it. I don't need the permission, but I know the peace I already have built. If I'm bringing someone else, I want the person to expand it, make it bigger and better. I don't want the person to come in and scatter what I already have. So it doesn't even pay you to go about it wrong. And that's why a lot of people fear those things. Don't be afraid to build with a man. If you get married to a Muslim, understand for a fact the possibility is there that he can choose to activate and marry 2, 3, 4. Let's see. I am not one of those who will say, they'll say that's the only part that Muslim men know. I'm not doing it, so I'm not one of those. But guess what? Polygyny is a default for Muslim men. It does not say marry one. If you know you cannot something, then marry 2 or 3. No, it says marry 2, 3, 4. Default. If you know you are not, then it brings the condition. If you know you are not able to meet, then marry 1. Then stick to 1. So polygyny is a default. It's easy in the world we live to have people paint some of the our beliefs as Muslims. They make, and because we don't really understand what we're doing, it feels like we start to key into it. So you find me today here saying, no, I'm not going to do it. Why? Because it's a function of choice. I don't feel like doing it. And I don't think I have what it takes to do it. And when people still talk about it, despite the fact that I have a multi-religious platform, I still talk about it, and I talk about second wives, and I talk about all of these things. And when you want to look at me, I'll tell you, what do you want? I'm a Muslim. It's permitted. I am not going to live my life according to un-Islamic laws. It is not my default. So let's not act like it's sisters, it's important. If you're getting married to a Muslim man, understand for a fact the possibility is there for him to marry another. He can marry another wife not because you've done anything wrong. If the issue is in how it is done. The issue is in how it is done. But if you have a husband who treats you right, he treats you right. He does everything he's supposed to do as a husband, regardless of whether he marries another wife or not. I don't see why you should not build with him. Having said that, build with sense. I have a joint account, and that's where all of my monies go. But I have an individual account. There's no money in it, but I have it. My wife has an individual account. There's no money in it, I know, because I have the login details and I check it from time to time when I want to move one money to there. My ATM is missing, please give me your own, let me move. I know there's no money there, but we have it. Don't throw away your individuality. Being a wife who is building with a man doesn't mean, for example, like you can't own your own properties. You can't own your own business. You can't own all of that. Having all of those does not stop you from building with your man. So that's the issue, I think.
Jazakallah khairan. In addition to what you have said and the perspective of our sisters about having second or third wife or fourth wife, to me, I think that issue or that matter is being hyped by the sisters is not as bad as they actually think. And if you look at it, if you look at the environment, if you look at the statistics, wait now, if you look at the statistics, it's like when you are in a class of 30, let's assume 25 of them pass and 5 of them fail, and you're now seeing the class as a failure class. You understand? And you're not seeing the class as a failure class. You are not being fair. You are not being fair.
I get your angle.
You understand?
Let me give something that I want you to.
When I finish,
I want to add something that I want you to address.
Exactly.
There was a time that the perception was that women who use niqab are dirty.
Yes.
Right.
You know?
Does that mean? No, the dirty bits, right? There was a time that perception was there.
Yes. Yes.
But I don't think that it doesn't exist today, right? It happened for a reason. Yes. How did it happen? The women involved changed the narrative by showing that it's not like that.
Not like that.
From the point, that's how I want you to address it.
Okay.
Is, can we really say, because we say perspective, numbers.
Yes.
Say we pick 100 men, and out of 100 men, there are 20 doing it, right?
Doing it, yes.
Now, the issue is not that there are 20 doing it. I want to focus on those 20. Of the 20 doing it, how many of them are doing it in ways that make it not look scary? That's the bit I want you to address.
Yes, yes. Truly, among those that did it, there are some that actually did it in a wrong manner. There are some that actually did it based on their own personal ego, personal interest, not considering the other partners, which is very, very important. Just as I've said, personally too, I would not support somebody that wants to go to a second relationship without carrying the second wife along. And even in Islam, that is the tenet, that is what is obtainable. But people still does it based on their own personal way of doing things. It's not a general matter. And we will tell you today that those ways are totally wrong. True. So his sister is talking about a brother who is in the ministry or who is in the office and be mesmerizing with sister. It's totally wrong. Even brothers, we condemn it among ourselves. So don't see that as the way many brothers does things. There are some brothers that they don't even have, their trousers are normal, and they don't do that. You understand? So don't see it when you see it, that's how brothers does. No, there are a few of them. The same way, like before, when I got married, I tell myself that I would not allow my wife to work in the ministry because of how I see men playing around there, ladies. But it got to a point I said, it's not a general thing. It's just a few of them that are just like that. So I should not think that all the ladies will be. And when my wife got an employment to an office, I can see the kind of respect she earned among our folks there, because she will never shake and she will never mingle with any. So, and I prepared her mind for that, because that's my perspective. When you get there, please don't do this. So it's not general. So in the issue of this, when you look at the men that actually go for second wife, if you look at their relationship is not as bad as they are being painted. Even we have so many divorcee among the singles, among the one wife, one man, than those who have 2, 3, 4 wives. We are experiencing a lot of challenges among those who are just a man and a husband than those ones. But you know, Yoruba will say, Baromin Deleru. You know those people that are not there, they are not with the family, they don't even know what they are passing through sometimes, but they are just seeing it from the fence, from outside. They are now painting it as if it is that bad. If a man choose to marry a second wife, as you have said, is a default to a Muslim. Not even to a Muslim. Let me tell you the fact. Not even to a Muslim alone. In the other religion aspect, the wife will be telling the husband, you can have anything you want to do outside though. You can do as much as you want outside. But my own is that you should not do what? You should not bring it home. So it means they don't care about pushing that man to the hellfire. They don't care. Even if you are going to enter hellfire for infidelity that you are doing, they don't care. They don't have that same belief that I want my wife, I want my husband to be with me in Jannah. They don't have that mindset like we have. Like a woman, as a Muslim woman, we always want a husband that you want to be with in the Jannah. Their own is not like that.
But funny enough, on this issue of wanting Jannah, Islam is the default for all of us as Muslims, right? But even with Muslim women, okay, let's not even use maybe, right? We have with Muslim women here. You would not mind your husband to have another wife. Hands, please.
You will not mind.
You will not mind. For Allah, you will not mind. See, I had to add Allah. See,
no.
And even after now adding Allah, see. So you should not mind Sunnah, right?
Yes.
The moment you say Sunnah is already for Allah, right?
Yes.
But you saw what happened, and we have Muslim women.
Yes, yes. So that's what I'm trying to say
that
now.
That responsibility of changing that perspective,
yes,
I think falls on men.
If
you have men, it's what we say about marriage generally. If you're around me, you will love marriage. You will feel like getting married today. The same way men who have gone into it should go into it in ways that take away all of these fears.
Yes, exactly.
If you have more men going about it in manners that scare out people, you would understand why they will be scared.
Exactly.
Think about the man I've spoken about. He doesn't need nothing. It's not compulsory for him to wait until the wife says yes. So he has the right. If you like, agree. If you like, don't agree. I can bring it in. But of his own free will, he said, this is what I want to achieve. I don't want second wife and one wife goes or the house is scattered. No. I want everything harmony. Everybody is just... And the way he feels to achieve that is to keep, he's pushing, pampering the wife, giving her this and that. Now, I want to. The day she says yes like this, uncle will just get another one. And it makes it less likely for them to have issues. Because this woman has already been well prepared that
exactly
something is
so
coming.
That is the ideal way of doing it. And that does not mean that the men that have done it have committed any crime. You understand? They have not committed any crime. And they should even sometimes, they should even appreciate some of these our brothers that we're talking about. Because that step that they have taken is better than for those who go into infidelity or infidel, and you are not even, nobody even know what is happening.
It is better.
You understand? It is better.
It is significant.
It's significant
you
better.
You should not even compare them.
At all.
There's nothing wrong with you.
But
it actually is prescribed. So we can't even be comparing it with wrong.
If you look at our society, even let's look at our family, MICA family now. If you look at the statistics of how many of them that have even done it, they're like 10%. Or let me say 20% at a max. You understand? But the narrative outside is as if everybody is just doing it. Everybody is just doing that. Hand.
One issue came up.
Yes, we discussed it.
That issue that I raised. Should we just bust it and make it?
Say it. Let them hear.
All right. This is my first time with MICA Abuja. So prior, it had always been MICA Lagos for me. Believe me, coming here, I'm not talking 1, 2, 3, 4 sources. The impression that was coming from women at MICA, so when I say women, I've said plural now, I'm talking in excess of 4, is that MICA gatherings is where all they do is give men second wife. Oh, is this true? Does it feel that way? It doesn't feel that way.
Mainly Abuja. I had a sister said I would not want my husband to attend MICA program. And I asked why. She said, are you married? I said, yes. She said, MICA is where they give your husband another wife. And I was like, really? She said, yes, now. Can't you see so person? Is it not MICA? Is it not when they started going to MICA, they get another wife and all of that? And I am aware of brothers that will tell you, brother, you're enough to take another wife. You are rich enough to take another. Like, is it all about money? Then if it's all about money, then we should not be talking about it. So they painted MICA to be where you take another wife. So we, the women, we see it that way too.
But is it, now this is MICA, right?
Yes.
Is it actually like that?
See, we have few. The MICA I used to know 6 years ago. No,
it's not like that in Lagos MICA. Abuja MICA. Let's not leave Lagos MICA. Abuja MICA. Is it 50-50? Because we need to be able to clarify these things. And I told him this. I said, look, this sort of ideas are coming through. Is it as it is? Because if it's like that, with time, the real thing that MICA was set up to achieve will start getting affected when people think, no, my husband is not going to go before they give him second wife. And see, you could see the number of hands that raised when I asked if sisters wanted if you would like your husband to have another wife. And nobody really, people don't. There are few people who want it, but a lot of people don't. So if it's not like that, then MICA does not deserve that sort of tag. So it falls back again to the members of MICA, the females and the males, to be able to understand what exactly is going on. He gave me an explanation yesterday that, see, for me, like anybody who knows me knows that you will not run bullshit by me. I will bring you back and say, come, this one, come, until you clear it or until I let you see. What he told me made sense to me. It didn't feel like that. It did not feel like that. See, are we really saying that if there are men who are able to do it by every standard, and who desire to do it by every standard, and are in societies where there are people desiring of going into that system with them, are we really as Muslims saying we're going to frown at that?
No.
We should not. You saw how many minutes I spent talking about it needs to be done right, it needs to be done right, it needs to be done right. You cannot fault a woman who does not want her husband to marry another woman. You can't fault that woman. It's just regular human feelings. And don't forget about where we've all been raised. Monogamy is the default in Nigeria, as the Nigeria state, what we think. However, like I said, there's that complexity of we're Nigerians, then we're Muslims, then the tribal one comes in. Which one are you? Am I a Muslim first before I'm a Nigerian, or am I a Nigerian first before I'm tribe, or whatever? All of those things come in. However, when you get married to a Muslim man, understand though, his default is 2, 3, or 4. That is not to say they can't do it right though.
Jazakallah khairan. So from my own personal opinion, the reason why we are not having more brothers here is that probably perhaps our sister has said, please stay at home. Don't come. So that they will not teach you how to marry second wife. Let me just go and listen for you. Is that so? Jazakallah khairan. We are just at the end of the program now. But my own take today is what one of our sisters says. When we are talking at a gathering like this, you see many sisters that probably come on time. They will listen to the program. But the other side, the other partner who's supposed to also have idea, get that information too, will not be there to listen. If I'm the only one that listen, and when we get home and I want to practicalize what I've learned, how do you correlate with that brother that doesn't even understand where you're coming from? So it's a big challenge. And we experienced the same thing at the single session yesterday. I was telling somebody, I said some of these single sisters that actually paid for this event, they are not coming to listen. No. You know, to be honest, to be fair, they are not coming to listen. They are looking for a suitor. But as they are,
I know people who came.
They will be peeping to the brother's side and say, I can't even see any. I can't even see any. You understand? Because there are very few. You understand? We have like 10 sisters.